Well, welcome to another fine adventure of what is in the garage. My name is Charlie. My last video was just kind of a refresher of what I had accomplished preparing myself for winter. This video, I'm going to start by giving you a small tour of what is in my garage. I know a lot of people have more space than I. There's a lot more people that have less space than I. I have a 1.5 car garage, and over the past 40 years, I have managed to fill it full of stuff. Some stuff is kind of valuable. Some stuff is unnecessary. Some stuff is remnants of past projects. And this garage could use a good cleaning. Now, some people think that you just bring in a dumpster and throw everything out. Well, that's not how I roll. I tend to squander and squirrel away things that should have been thrown away a long time ago. I'm going to give you a short tour of what's in this garage. Some of the things you'll see that you have in your own garage and you probably should get rid of too. Or you have your own reason for hanging on to some of your stuff. So, if you give me a moment, I'll give you a short tour of what this place really looks like. Well, I guess first of all, I want to apologize for this video appearing to be backwards. I am filming this with a tablet. I don't have a $1,300 phone that, everybody seems to have. I have an old-fashioned flip phone, folks, so I kind of roll with the old. If it works, don't get rid of it. It's cheaper, obviously. Well, let's start with my garage and what I have in it. This, ladies and gentlemen, is what my garage looks like on an average day. Full of all kinds of things. All kinds of things that I want to keep. Some things need to get tossed. Some things can stay. So let me start here in this corner by the entrance to my garage. This is where I walk in and go, oh my goodness. There I've got my my fuse panel, a couple of bicycles hanging from the ceiling. Underneath the plastic bag there is a welder. Right next to it on the right, if I can get in here underneath that blanket, there is an engine to a motorcycle, engine and transmission. This is a pressure washer. It broke 5 years ago. Am I going to get it working? I doubt it. Down this wall, I have all kinds of things. Let's start with this freezer. Used as a storage shelf for oil, finishing products, paint, you name it, it's up there. Another shelf with an air tank, a couple of planes up on top, hand planes, some motor oil, TV, which I don't use anymore, a little sound system for the garage, There's a workbench there with some tools in it. Nothing fancy, mind you. I have some cabinetry, open shelving units that I built for just garbage in the garage. Again, a lot of this can go. Some will have to stay. This is a workbench with cabinet doors on it. This is what collecting and just throwing stuff down on your workbench does to you after 40 years. Then, of course, we have my bandsaw in the background. Going across the back wall, I have another shelf unit. I have a tool cabinet that I built in the 80s. Actually, I built it in the 70s, now that I think about it. And I have just a metal cabinet from the house when we moved in. An old air compressor that needs some work. A big chunk of apple wood. And some other tools. Just hanging out. Across the back wall here I have my wood burning stove. Scrap pieces of wood that I'll get burned up here this winter, definitely. Across this side of the garage, I have a, believe it or not, what you see here is 2-foot by 8-foot pieces of plywood on 2x4s that create a table that would be 10-foot by 8-foot long for my wife. She can lay out a huge quilt on that table when they're set up on sawhorses. Back in the corner, oh, the dusty, forbidden corner. There's a wood lathe back there, folks, believe it or not. But you can't use it if you can't get to it. Another project that kind of went awry, fell by the waysides, that little cabinet there. That cabinet is sitting amongst and around some old yard furniture that needs to go. I have a few doors back there in the corner. And way back here in the corner, it's a Yamaha motorcycle. That's what the engine is for up front. So, all kinds of stuff. Some lights for the garage. Let me back out of here. Okay, from this perspective, I have my table saw. There's a piece of furniture that was made in the 1860s. I drove to Arizona for that piece of furniture. And there'll be more to do with that later. This is a headboard from an old bed that my kids had growing up. You know, my youngest is 33. I better check how old he is. Why do I still have it? I'll show you. What you see right here is a bunch of cedar that is destined for the front deck on my house. You can see that it consists of 3 pieces that are machined to a specific size. These are all glued together. These are going to create the apron below the actual deck surface on my deck in the front. But it's cold outside. These pieces won't get worked on until spring. There's my new and current trusty snowblower. Underneath the blue tarp is a gas-powered generator. We do lose power from time to time here. I have a chop saw there sitting on top of my radial arm saw. On the back wall is a bunch of wood trim, leftovers, scraps from past projects. There's a lot of material back there. Those cushions are for our lawn furniture. Those cushions are sitting on top of a late 1800s, early 1900s settee, which has I guess a love couch and a rocker. Those came from my mother and father-in-law, who lived in Faribault, Minnesota. They had planned on restoring them. Well, they've been in my garage for a long time. Another project. Then I have, last but not least, the snowblower. Another gift from my father-in-law when he moved to Louisville, Kentucky. Well, so that needs some work. Sitting on top of it is a weed eater, and back there is a leaf blower. All three of those, gas-powered, need work. So, that's what I got for you today, folks. This is what is in my garage. Oh, did I forget? My workbench. Current. Made up of 2x4 cedar. They're just stacked up there. They're sitting on sawhorses, and they're level. Then I have an older Delta jointer there. But you can see I have a tendency to not clean up after myself. What do you think? Do I keep it all? Or do I call in the dumpster? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that is the grand tour of what is in the garage. I know that you all, as you're watching this, are laughing and sneering and giggling and pointing and going, oh, I have that exact same pile of poop that should have been thrown out a long time ago. And I know that I'm really no different than a lot of you folks. What I work on is different. And how I go about things might be different. But all in all, we still tend to do some of the same things. And if you join me in my journey, you can see me restore some things. I might modify some things. I might build some things from scratch. You might watch me finish some things that I have started. And I may start some new things that have been sitting here for a long time that need some TLC. I'm not going to be doing a whole lot of things that is much different than what you folks are doing. So come along with me and enjoy laughing and pointing and giggling and sneering at things that I do while cleaning out my garage. Thank you for watching. Thank you for spending some time with me today. And I hope you all have a great day. Thank you.